Hi guys, it's been a manic day and I have a lot of things to tell you today, so I thought we should start now. My name is Clara and I'm the owner of the Inkpath, this channel that you are in at the moment. And while I'll park, let me tell you that today we have a combined review about a graphic novel and two illustrated books that I really want to show you. I did a screenshot of, well, not the graphic novel because that was a loan from the library, but for the other two books I have a screenshot that you may want to see. So let's start. The first book I'm going to mention is the only one I don't have, as I said, is a loan from the library, and it's a graphic novel about the life of Zelda Fitzgerald, the wife of Scott Fitzgerald, that as I have discovered is more than just a pretty wife. She was an icon for the time period because she was kind of the example of a flapper, a party girl, a model, and also a fashion icon. And she was even a writer on her own right, even though sometimes Scott actually steals the spotlight from her and steals bits and pieces of her work to include in his novels, which is always quite nasty to do. So I found in my workplace, in the library of my workplace, I found a graphic novel called Super Zelda, La vida ilustrada de Zelda Fitzgerald. Would be like Super Zelda, the illustrated life of Zelda Fitzgerald. It was written by Tiziana Loporto and Daniel Marotta in the illustration department, and I read it in Spanish. So I think if you actually go to Goodreads, you may find if it's in English or not. And this graphic novel, as it says, explores the life of Zelda Fitzgerald from a really young age when she's dreaming of doing big stuff, and also when she meets Scott and the romance that they have and the kind of conflicts that they had until the point where she dies in a fire in the mental health institution that she was interned in. I didn't know that much about Zelda other than Scott actually based some of his female roles in her, but I didn't know, for example, that she was a writer on her own right, and I believe that this was the perfect way to get introduced with her persona as a, not only as a writer but as a kind of exponent of the 1920s era. And I love how kind of broad was the novel in the sense that it actually covered her whole life, or at least important phases of her life. And I love how bold and kind of feisty she was, even though she had a soft spot as well inside her, even though she was a little bit insecure and naive sometimes. But I love meeting her, and I love how, as you may know from the cover, the story was presented in this kind of 1920s lines of drawing, like very broad shoulders, very kind of angular faces, and the palette was like in one kind of tone from white to dark blue. So you have all this blue palette to explore not only Zelda's life but also Zelda's internal conflicts, because she suffered from several mental illnesses as well, so you can actually see the darker sides of her. And even though I adore it, I also find that it was really hard for me sometimes to grasp the situation, not because it was bad kind of organized or bad plotted, but I feel like even though I enjoy it and I feel it's a good step to get into knowing Zelda, I feel like this graphic novel sometimes was too brief in certain aspects or certain phases of Zelda. So we went from one position where she was very in love with Scott, and in the other one she was like arguing so much with Scott that she had to kind of leave home, and she had lovers and stuff, but they never explained to you why they were bickering so much or who these lovers were. Just they were just names in her love story that you never got to explore. Sometimes in this kind of very brief moments, I feel like this novel or this graphic novel was kind of more centered or more focused for people who already know Zelda's life. Like this is a revision of her life in a new format, and I feel like this would be more enjoyable if I already read a biography of her or something related to her life, as to have a background information to complete with this. But even though I had this kind of lack of information sometimes, I like it, and I hope you enjoy it too. The next one I'm going to show it to you is I will insert the screenshots so you can actually see. It's a kind of illustrated book called Mujeres, or Women if you wanted to translate it. I presented last year in January. I presented to you the review of the first volume of this collection. In this collection we follow certain women of history, women that had their place in history because several reasons, that maybe they are not known as much, or they are known for some things but not for others. So in this story, in this book, Isabel Ruiz, who is the writer and also the illustrator of the drawings, she explored, as I said, as in the previous volume, she explored different women's life in kind of short biographies. And the ones I picked, for example, were Heidi Lamar, who was an actress but also an activist against Hitler and an inventor that helped to defeat him. I also selected Federica Montseny, who was a Spanish politician during the Second Republic, who was even Ministry of Health and Hygiene kind of ministry, and she yes, health and welfare. Sorry, I'm the worst at this. She also was very important, as I said, in politics and in making how important health and good health conditions were to the poor. I will insert several women in here so you can see. What I love the most about this in particular is that the biographies, the short biographies, which are not so short in some cases, are not very in-depth, but they are quite specific. So you are left, when you read, for example, one biography, you are left with the important stuff. And if you want to know more about these women or this woman in particular that you're reading about, you can explore, you can do research and find more about it. But it's not, as in the case of Zelda, you are not left with the need of more information to complete the picture. If you read this biography, you may have the complete picture of what she achieved and of why she is important. Regarding the style, the drawing style, what I love the most is this kind of oval faces that she draws with big eyes. I love the big eyes and how harmonic they seem regarding the rest of the picture, and I'll let you know some examples so you can actually see. And the last book I'm going to mention is Enigmas by Beatriz Martin Vidal. I'm cheating because I have the name written down here, but I have to tell you that book is incredible. I'm inserting a few videos here so you can actually watch it. This is a kind of retelling of the original fairy tales, like Grimm fairy tales and so on, but using like a darker twist about the questions that are left after the tale is told. And each kind of small text is accompanied by drawings by this author, who is also an illustrator, and these kind of drawings are really like scary and hypnotic and darker than the Disney versions. For example, you have this kind of Sleeping Beauty figure who is like suspended in the air, like in trance or sleeping, while her body is tangled with kind of red cords that imprison her, and you can actually see the hair, the locks of her hair failing or being suspended in the air. And also, for example, you can actually see Red Riding Hood inside the wolf belly, like with all matter of detail of the hands, the pinky cheeks with freckles, but also the fact that she's actually in the belly of a beast, so she's either sleeping or dead. So you have this kind of, I don't know how to explain it, sleepy face while having this kind of scary twist on it, like you're not sure if she's dead, but she seems to be kind of floating in this kind of petal river with flower petals or anything like that. I don't know, you can actually see the details. It's very hyper realistic drawings, and I hope you can actually see it now. And I adore it. I actually believe it was a really nice work, and I want to see more of her work. I found this out of luck in the Spanish book fair, and I read it in one sitting. And what I love the most about this, apart from the hyper realistic drawings, as I said, is that when you see a drawing, for example, the white hood, not Red Riding Hood, but the white one, or the Red Riding Hood herself. If you touch the pages have this kind of granulated feeling to it. You can almost feel the ink kind of poured into the page. You can actually feel the amount of ink inside the proper page to create this image, and I adore it. It's lovely. Other than that, I think these three books are really kind of out of what you normally would see, and I adore them. I adore the three of them actually, and I wanted to share it with you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and that you may recommend me also other illustrated books. They don't have to be related to biographies or fairy tales, but books that you feel that the illustration give that something special than the normal kind of without illustration story could do. Let me your recommendation for illustrated books down below. I hope you enjoy it, and you tell me more about your illustrated favorite books. Bye!